Happy Friday! I'm Imani. I'm a conjure woman. I'm a creative. And I'm going to pull some cards for you. Let's talk about love. Going to a wedding today. I'm excited. I've never been a +1 before. But yeah, let's talk about love. We're in an era. Okay, I feel like there's two different messages emerging. We're in an era of distinguishing the quality of love that we accept, that we give, that we curate in our lives. And there's a difference, a profound difference, between people, well, yeah, there's that saying of like people that are for a season and then people that are for a reason. I think stuff that's for a season is also for a reason, but like things that are more fleeting in our lives and things that have more staying power. I was thinking earlier today about how it used to like really freak me out, the fact that in life sometimes you're like, you don't even know someone exists. And then suddenly you're very up close to them and like doing an era of your life with them. And then it's like you don't know each other at all anymore. It's weird. Like, it's kind of weird, but it's also really beautiful that we get to do these kinds of like, the word in my head is like intensives, like this deep study of a part of ourselves and a part of life through learning another person. And noticing what we're kind of like poked and prodded by in that other person, what parts of ourselves, you know, flourish with that other person around. Something that is coming through is be mindful of how much you're pouring. I talked about in some lives a while ago. I think there's one like called like The Spell is Broken or something like that. So if this message resonates, that might be one to check out. But those of us that are very like daydreamy, which I think is who I tend to attract, we can do a really good job of dressing a situation up in our minds because of how much love we are pouring into it. And so it's like, oh my God, this is so like romantic and special and beautiful and like holy and amazing. And if you were to zoom out, I've felt this way in past relationships. If you were to zoom out, you would see that it's you pouring very intensely, giving everything you have in you, and someone else kind of lapping it up. And then like, instead of also pouring and it being like this, you know, beautiful reciprocal giving, they're like, yeah, sure, give me that and I'm gonna go and live my life and use it to fuel me in an extractive way. Because our love should fuel one another. It's good that it's like wind under our wings. It's different though when you're like self-sacrificial and giving and never really receiving. Something else with that is that we can take ownership and like responsibility over our part in that dynamic, because it's not just like, oh, like all these people keep, you know, running circles around me and walking all over me and you know, using my goodness. There is a certain point where you can say, yeah, that's true, and I'm not participating in that anymore. And it can be easier said than done, especially if our patterns and our imprinting is like for people to, like use us, or like I grew up with a very like one of my parents being very emotionally abusive. So it's like I would never blame myself for the fact that I was always doing this kind of like vying for approval by overgiving. I wouldn't blame myself for the fact that I was like that in my earlier relationships, because of course I was, because that was my patterning. But there was a certain point where I was like, I actually can't do that again. Like, I don't have it in me to do that again. I'd rather be single than do that again. So if you take an honest look at the situation that you're in, and it's like, wait, I actually don't feel this person's care. Like, I actually don't feel known. Whether that be because this person doesn't want to do that, shows no signs of wanting to do that, or maybe this person actually is trying to connect with me and I have so many walls up that I'm not even able to receive that. It can come in a lot of different packages. But it's something to check in about. Because if it feels extractive, that's not your soulmate, that's not your one. The one that you have to drain yourself for, that's not what you signed up for. Like, when you were envisioning your life before coming here, that's not what you put on the docket for yourself. Maybe to experience it briefly, to know like your limits, but not for the long run. There's a difference between, kind of the places that you would just stay the night, and like the place where you make it your home. There are differences in quality there. So I think someone needed to hear that what they're experiencing, or maybe what you just wrapped up dealing with, was that kind of like overpouring. And it's not always like that. Like, that's not the only thing that's out there. I think we receive a lot of like messaging that kind of can confirm our fears of like, oh, but I'll never find something where it feels like peaceful and reciprocal, but it's actually possible. And when you like experience it, I want that for more people. I want that for those of us who are pouring love into the world, because it's like the most refreshing feeling. It's the most refreshing feeling ever. Not everyone needs to be, coached into showing up for you the way that you need. Not everyone, is committed to misunderstanding you. Not everyone will take your kindness for granted. There are people out there, in the same way that you've been tending to your heart, to have more capacity for love and kindness. Like those moments where you sit with yourself and you journal and, write out why that, fight that you had with that ex like made you so mad, and like what you wish you would have said. And those moments where you sit in therapy and you're crying and so annoyed that you can see a pattern and you wonder why you didn't break it sooner. Those moments of forgiving yourself and just saying to yourself, like, okay, like, I've really been doing my best this whole time. That work that you've been doing, there are other people doing that too. You're not the only one. You are special and amazing and magical, and you're not alone. There are other people out there ready to meet you where you are, and you don't have to wait for them to like catch up, that kind of feeling. There are people, whereas before you were the one like building the tent you sleep in and making the food and, going to the river and getting water and doing everything, laying out the foam pad and the sleeping bag for you guys to sleep on, like doing everything. There are people who you guys are like in a stable, spacious house together and you're cooking dinner together, dancing in the kitchen, like you each have your own little specialty, like they're like prepping the veggies and like tossing them in olive oil, seasoning them just right, and you're manning the grill or whatever. Like it's more kind of like potluck vibes, whereas before it was giving more like, I don't even know the word for it, but like one-man show kind of thing where it's like everything feeling like it was on your back. So I guess the point of this is that reciprocal love is out there. If you've been feeling a little bit like something is brewing and like how I feel like something big is about to change with my life, it might be that you feel yourself getting, fed up with less than you deserve. It could be that. And the way I'm seeing it, it could like be that you have some kind of, fight on the horizon where you're like, you know what, I'm actually done with this. Or some kind of like, illuminating moment of clarity that comes in very suddenly. And I know that you'll use it to your advantage. You'll use it well. If you're feeling confused, it's a great time to journal and just like write out how you feel. But you deserve sweet, reciprocal, deeply connected, and warm love. I want that for everyone who is pouring love out into the world, who is learning more and more how to love themselves. I want that for all of us. Because I think that's just another piece of us like anchoring ourselves into a more peaceful world. I think that's like a part of it. That like, oh wow, relationships don't have to be another site of violence. They don't have to be another place where we feel diminished. And I really believe that our personal lives and bolstering them helps us to be stronger when it comes to the collective building that we're doing. And I give thanks to the Black feminist scholars who have led the way in revealing that to me and reminding me. And yeah, I'm excited to go to a wedding today and like to celebrate love and to bask in it. That's gonna feel really nice. So that's another cool thing to do. If you have like a song that makes you think of like what you would want a future relationship to look like, or you can make like a Pinterest board of like, different, I have a board that has like a lot of different like tweets, I guess, of like people talking about different like characteristics and dynamics, or like their cute like little memes and stuff. And I like putting that in a Pinterest board. Yeah, doing something to meditate on the energy of love would be a great use of time, a great little treat. Maybe a date with yourself. Yeah, lots of really great things to strengthen you. Okay, I love you. I hope you take good care until I see you next, which will be very soon. Okay, take care.